So this is the Temeda app. It is built on Google Maps, and it has much the same functionality of Google Maps. So you can drag it, zoom in, zoom out, both with your mouse and keyboard, as well as using the navigation buttons down at the bottom. We do also support satellite overlays and traffic, as well as street view. Around Google Maps, we've built this frame, and we refer to it as the ribbon. It shows you, it includes a number of different navigation elements where you can get into different pieces of the application. On the right side, there is the user settings as well as help. And then beneath that is an element which we refer to as the accordion. And that's because as you click certain sections of it, it will move up and down to display that information. At the bottom, we have the gut, which is the global update tray, and that is a coarse filter of the map. On the map, you'll see that there's a number of different icons with numbers in them. So up in Washington, there's an 8. Down in California, there's a 32. In Chicago, there's a 150. What those are is a cluster. So it is a group of devices that is close together. So rather than displaying all of the points at the same time on the map, we group them together so that it's easier to see graphically. If you click on to one of them, it will zoom in. And you can again see that there's more icons that are here. So in different dots, you'll notice that there's different symbols. So this particular one has a red square in it. And so that means just like a VCR or a Blu-ray player, this particular asset is stopped. Over here, we have an asset with an arrow in it. That indicates movement and direction. So if you click on any one of the dots in the application, what's going to display is what we refer to as the mobile pop-up. This gives you a little bit more information about that piece of equipment. If you click the history trail, a new tab will display. We do this for power users, some people who have multiple monitors. They like to be able to have the application on one page and the history trail or a report on a different screen. So we do support that. In the history trail, you get to see basically where the equipment's been and what it's been doing. So again, you'll see that there's a lot of different icons on this map. So for example, there's a red dot that indicates that the piece of equipment is not moving. It is stopped. And then you have these green arrows, which indicate that the piece of equipment is moving, and it shows you the direction. So what you're able to do in the history trail is replay a couple days worth of data. So to do that, you use this display down at the bottom. And again, just like a VCR or a Blu-ray player, you can rewind it like I just did there, and then replay back the day. You're able to change the speed that this comes back. You can see that that fastest is pretty quick, or you could slow it down. And you're also able to change the time frame. And if you would like, you can also filter the reports that are being displayed. So if for example, you only want to see stop events, you're able to do that here. So you hit stop, and then it'll only display events where the device is stopped.
Great.
For a key of what the different colors mean, that is up here to the left. So there's moving, stopped, alert, sensor, camera, driver safety. And that is the history trail. Going back to the mobile pop-up, you're able to do a number of other things here. I'll just show the Street View quickly, because we do support Google Street View. So you can click that and see where the asset is. So again, this is in some sort of a rail yard. Also from the mobile pop-up, you can go into the dashboard. This gives you even more information about this particular piece. So you can see the year, make, model, year, or the year, make, model information, description, VIN, license plate, address, other information like that. We also do show engine data elements here. So speed, odometer, engine hours, idle hours, battery voltage, RPM, information like that. From the dashboard, you can move into analytics. Analytics gives you, it displays information graphically. So this first one is basic utilization. It shows in, all that this does is show you on a specific day, so as an example, 8 or 9/10, how many hours that piece of equipment ran. So this piece of equipment ran for 3.5 hours on that day. If this asset was reporting fuel usage, you would see that here as well in gallons. You can see the cumulative engine hours over time. The next is battery voltage. So this graph shows minimum, maximum, and average battery voltage over time. And then the one beneath that is engine RPM. It shows minimum, maximum, and average engine RPM over time. We also show alerts here. So this particular piece has 80 alerts that have occurred this week. To get more information about the specific alert, you can see it here. So this first one is a warning that occurred at 9:14:17 at 12:25 a.m. It gives you the asset number, the alert type. So this particular one was a check engine diagnostic alert. And then in this data down here, you can see more specific information about the check engine diagnostic alert. So this particular check engine diagnostic alert has something to do with the engine exhaust recirculation 1 differential pressure. Here we also can display maintenance. So this will show you all of the pending maintenance on the account or on this asset. And it will also show you all of the maintenance logs associated with this asset. We also have a number of reports that can be run. To get into reports, you go to reports and then click run a report. And you're presented with a form that you can fill out to run a report. We do support a lot of different reports. To get an explanation of what those are, you can go into Reports Help. And this provides a nice overview of all of the different reports that we have. You get an image of that report as well as a couple sentences explaining that report. So what I did here was I ran a report called Job Site Utilization. I ran it for 226 assets for today and over a number of different job sites. And this is the output of this particular report. What this report shows is the amount of time that a piece of equipment ran inside of a job site. Each one of these pieces of equipment have been associated an hourly billing rate, and this allows our customer to automate their billing through our system. So as an example, this first location that's being presented is called Temeda Quarry. It's also an asphalt plant. There's a piece that ran inside of this specific job site. That's a JCB skid steer. The current hours on this is 3219. The total engine hours that this piece has ran for today is 7.3 hours. The billing rate for this piece of equipment is $14 an hour. So today, this piece of equipment netted $102 for our customer. And you can go through and see that for all of these pieces. To export any report, that is at the bottom, so I'll scroll all the way down. And you see that this report is able to be exported to PDF, Excel, or printed. That is available on all of our reports. If you find yourself running the same report frequently, we would recommend scheduling a report. This allows you to tell the system that you want to receive a specific report on a specific interval, and it will be emailed to you on the time frame that you selected. So I'll just pick a idle report for all of the pieces in this account. I'll email it to Pablo, and I'll call this test report 1. I can choose the frequency, so I'll choose monthly. I want it to occur on the second Wednesday of every month. I want it to start tomorrow, and I want it to run 10 times, and I want it to send to me at 2:15 in the morning. So down at the bottom of a scheduled report, you get an example that shows you the first 3 scheduled reports, the date and time that they would be sent, the time range that they would cover. If you want to view all of your saved schedules, you're able to do that as well. The next section that we'll go over is alerts. To get to alerts, you go to alerts and then manage alerts. Here you will see all of the alerts that have been created for this account. To create a new alert, you select add alert. I'll call this test alert 1. This particular alert, I will make a diagnostic trouble code alert, so that way I can be notified whenever a diagnostic trouble code is generated on any of my vehicles. I'm going to apply this alert to the entire company. I want to be notified only inside of a specific schedule because I don't want to be notified outside of business hours. So I will just input my business hours here. And that way I will only be notified during this time frame. The alert frequency is the minimum amount of time before the alert can be triggered again. So I'll leave that at 1 hour. The notification frequency is the minimum amount of time before sending another notification after the alert is triggered on the same asset. So I only want to be notified every 24 hours. We have the alert subject and content. This tells you what will be sent in the alert when it is sent to me. So this code that's in brackets is somewhat similar to a VLOOKUP in Excel. So when this alert is actually generated, all of the information in brackets will be filled with the accurate information at the time that the alert is sent. So instead of saying alert name, alert type for asset on date at time, it would say test alert 1, diagnostic trouble code alert for Bob's truck on 8/14/17 at 5 in the morning. You're able to change the severity level. So I will make this critical. And then you're able to choose who is notified of this alert. So I will notify the maintenance team. To save the notification, you hit apply. Once that's done, you click save on the alert, and it will save this alert. I'm going to cancel out of this, though, just for the demo purposes. There's also the admin lock. This allows you to administer the account. This is where you can create assets, groups, projects, users, locations, zones, customers, dealerships, etc. In the interest of time, I'll just go over one or two of these sections. So first I'll go over assets. So once you click assets, you'll see all of the assets that have been created. To add a new asset, you click add asset, and you fill out all of the required fields. Once you've filled out everything, you're able to select an image for this asset. So I'll choose a Ford F-150 pickup. We do have a lot of different assets that are able to be selected. So everything from an over-the-road truck to an ambulance, heavy equipment, containers, excavators, sports cars. We do have a lot of different options here. If there's a particular asset that we don't have an image for that you would like added, you're able to upload a custom image here. We only ask that you would make sure to have the copyright of that image prior to uploading it. I'll exit out of this. You're also able to create a new location. So here, once you click into locations, you'll see all the locations that have already been created. To create a new location, you click Add Location. So I'll add a name, select a type. So this will be a branch office. And then you can either enter a street address, enter coordinates, or just begin drawing. For this example, I'll just click Begin Drawing. Once you do that, it will auto-populate a circle. I'll change this to satellite view. And then you can resize this circle and move it around. What you're also able to do is change it from a circle to a polygon. So I'll just quickly draw a piece here, a shape. And then you're able to add a lot of points to this and rearrange it so that it fits your particular shape. And you can get very complex with these shapes. Once you're done with this, you can select Save, and that will save the location. The last part of the application that I'll go over is maintenance. So to get to maintenance, you go to maintenance and then select status. This status page will give you an overview of the status of all of your existing maintenance plans. The way that you create a maintenance plan is you start with this tab up in the right called Logs, and you move from Logs to Tasks to Plans and Schedules. So first you click Logs. First you click Tasks. And you have to make sure that all of the tasks that you would like to perform on your maintenance plan are included in this list. If you'd like to add a new task, you can click Add Task and add the new thing. So I'll click Lubricate and all bearings. And save this. That creates a new task that I'm able to create a plan on. To create a plan, you click Plans. Here you'll see all of the existing plans. To add a new one, you click the blue button, Add Plan. I'll call this Test Plan 1. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is to choose a specific interval that you would like the plan to be created on. We do offer both fixed and variable intervals. So a fixed interval will force the asset to be due on the exact interval, or the plan to be configured using variable intervals, which will set the next service due at the current odometer hours plus the plan interval. So in this example, I will use fixed intervals, and I'm going to choose engine hours. So I will say every 100 engine hours, starting at 0 with no end time, I want to perform maintenance. To choose the tasks you want to perform, you go to Tasks, and you check the tasks that you're interested in performing. So the one that we created earlier was Lubricate all bearings. So I'll add that here. So this particular task or plan, you're going to lower the vehicle, change the differential oil. You're going to check the air build up and cut off. You're going to check all fluids, and you're going to lubricate all bearings. That's what's included in Test Plan 1. You're also able to choose which assets this applies to. This can apply to a group of assets, individual assets, or the entire company. For this, I'll just pick a couple of individual assets and then click Save. So I now have new maintenance here. I can see my 4 tasks. It is due every 100 hours, and it applies to these 3 assets. To log maintenance, you go to Status. You can either search by the asset, the plan, the schedule, your status, due, overdue, not due. For this, I'll just go by schedule. Then on the right, you're able to choose to log maintenance. You can see the service history of the asset, or you can see the service details. So I'll click on service details. This brings me up a form that can be saved or emailed, or is also viewable on a cell phone. And it tells you the 4 tasks that have to be done in this maintenance. We'll close out of that. So log maintenance, you go to log, choose the asset, choose the interval. You can set the current hours here, the current odometer, invoice number, work order number, part cost, labor cost, any service notes or anything like that. And once you perform the maintenance, you click Save. This whole system is developed, the logging system is developed to be very easy for maintenance professionals to be able to log this without taking much additional time out of their day. We understand that maintenance professionals typically have, they're dealing with grease and other dirty things, and the last thing that they really want to do is be clicking around on a keyboard a lot. So we made this be able to be used with the fewest number of clicks needed. That's the idea behind this. So I'll click Cancel, exit out of this, and that's maintenance.